The Cincinnati Open has already delivered its fair share of drama and excitement, and today, all eyes were on Jannik Sinner. Coming into the tournament fresh from recent successes, Sinner walked onto the court with the calm confidence of a man who knew exactly what he needed to do. Across the net stood HUMILIATES Galan, a talented player with the capability to trouble anyone on his day. But from the very first point, it became clear that this was going to be Sinner's match, his stage, and his statement. From the opening game, Sinner's racket was like a weapon of precision. His serves were laser-sharp, his ground strokes painted the lines, and his movement was fluid yet explosive. Galan, despite his best efforts, found himself constantly on the back foot. Every time he tried to dictate a rally, Sinner turned defense into attack with a single, breathtaking shot. The scoreline quickly began to reflect the dominance on court. Games were flying by, and Sinner had an answer for everything. Winning the first set 6-1, Sinner barely allowed Galan to catch his breath. It wasn't just the winners he hit, it was the relentless consistency, the unshakable focus, and the quiet intensity in his eyes. You could see that he wasn't just playing to win, he was playing to send a message. The crowd could feel it too. Every clean winner drew roars of approval, and even neutral fans began to lean into Sinner's corner, swept up by his energy. The second set was even more one-sided. If there was any hope for Galan to mount a comeback, Sinner crushed it within minutes. Breaking serve early, he didn't just hold his lead, he extended it with ruthless efficiency. Galan tried mixing up the pace, throwing in drop shots, and even approaching the net, but nothing seemed to disrupt Sinner's rhythm. His passing shots were perfectly timed, his returns came back deeper and heavier, and his court coverage was simply exceptional. Every point seemed to have a purpose. There was no showboating, no wasted energy, just pure, high-quality tennis. It was a performance that reminded everyone why Sinner is considered one of the brightest stars in the sport right now. The way he dictated play from both wings, kept unforced errors to a bare minimum, and stayed mentally locked in from the first ball to the last. It was the blueprint of a champion. When match point arrived, the crowd held its breath. A quick, aggressive rally ended with Sinner ripping a forehand winner down the line, sealing the victory at 6-1, 6-1. The stadium erupted, and Sinner, ever composed, simply raised his racket and gave a modest wave to acknowledge the cheers. There was no wild celebration, no dramatic collapse to the ground, just a quiet nod that said, "This is what I came here to do." After the match, his on-court interview reflected that same mindset. Sinner spoke about staying focused, respecting his opponent, and keeping his preparation sharp for the challenges ahead. He didn't dwell on the scoreline or the dominance. His attention was already on the next match. It was a glimpse into the mentality that separates great players from the rest, the ability to perform at such a high level and yet keep looking forward. For Galan, it was a tough day at the office. He fought hard, tried different strategies, and never gave up, but sometimes in tennis, you run into a player who's simply playing at another level. This was one of those days. The Colombian will no doubt regroup and use the experience to fuel his next challenge, but the gulf in performance today was clear. For fans, the message from Sinner was unmistakable. He's here to make a deep run in Cincinnati. If he can maintain this level, his combination of power, precision, and mental fortitude will make him a nightmare opponent for anyone in the draw. His ability to dominate rallies, control tempo, and finish points decisively is peaking at just the right moment. Tennis is a sport of fine margins, and often, matches are decided by just a few points here and there. But this match was different. From start to finish, there was never any doubt about the outcome. Sinner's dominance wasn't just about hitting winners, it was about imposing himself mentally, making Galan feel the pressure with every ball, and never letting that pressure ease for even a moment. Fans leaving the court today weren't just talking about the score, they were talking about the way Sinner played, the poise, the athleticism, the control. It was the kind of performance that gets remembered not just for the result, but for the statement it makes. And in a sport where momentum can shift so quickly, performances like this can set the tone for an entire tournament. The Cincinnati Open still has plenty of tennis to come, and bigger challenges surely await Sinner. But if today was any indication, he's not just here to participate, he's here to dominate. And with each match, each point, and each swing of his racket, he's showing the tennis world that he's ready for whatever comes next. This wasn't just a win. It was a warning. And every player in the locker room who saw that scoreline and caught a glimpse of the highlights will know, they're going to have to bring something extraordinary to stop Jannik Sinner this week. If you're a tennis fan, buckle up. The road ahead for Sinner in Cincinnati could be one of the most exciting stories of the tournament. And if today was any sign, we might just be witnessing the start of something special.